What's the first hack, man? What's the first hack that comes to mind, man? Talk to us.
I think when it comes to the gym, we understand that it's a process. It's not just show up for today. It's not show up for a week. It's basically needs to become a habit and a part of life.
Yep.
And as human beings, when we find ourselves wanting to do something, if you like to go to the movies on Thursday night, guess what? You're going to go to the movies on Thursday night. What
Yep.
is it that made you want to go to the movies? Maybe it's the entertainment. Maybe it's the popcorn. Who knows what it is, but you want to go. So when it comes to the gym, you really got to frame this in a way where you want to go. If you continue to keep your mindset in a place where you're seeing the benefits, you're seeing the good, not the bad, you're going to want to go. So I think it's really important for people to truly look at okay, I'm going to the gym and I'm getting A, B, and C versus shit, I'm going to the gym and I'm losing A, B, and C. I guess the foundation to this whole first tip is when you develop a mindset that you want to go, it's real easy to continue.
I agree with that. And it all comes down to your why. What are we in the gym for? And it has to be bigger than the vacation. Has to be bigger than
Yeah.
looking better than your old boyfriend's current girlfriend, the new girl,
Hmm.
or vice
Yeah, that was
versa,
good.
the new guy. Has to be bigger than that. So I'm right there with you, Johnny. What
Yeah.
we got next? What we got next?
Then I think the next one that's a really powerful is that people they go to the gym with this certain expectation. And in many cases, it's how many reps or how much weight they're going to lift, or sometimes a combo of the two. And when you go to the gym, in many cases, there's stuff that happened that day that's going to alter your ability to perform at that level.
Yep.
And a lot of times that stuff's out of your control. But what you don't want to do is go to the gym and get yourself all twisted up and butt hurt because you couldn't bench a certain amount
Yep.
on a certain amount of reps. The next hack is this: go to the gym with the expectation of busting your ass, because you
Yep.
bust your ass, you feel good about what you did, and you leave with the idea that, man, that was good. I want to do it tomorrow. So this one feeds in directly into the first tip, which was promote a mindset that makes you want to do it. If you follow this tip, it feeds right into that. I can't tell you how many times I have gone to the gym and I can tell right out of the gate, man, today's probably not going to be one of my best days of performance. What I don't do is get all twisted up about that. I like, okay, I'm going to just bust my ass. And the funny part is sometimes when you have that perspective, you actually you end up performing really well. But when you got a bunch of anxiety, oh my God, I'm not going to bench what I want to. Guess what? It ain't going to happen. So go to the gym with the expectation of busting your ass rather than the expectation of lifting a certain amount.
And that's actually a great point because I was this morning I was listening to Tom Brady. When I was awake, you were still asleep, John, because I get up before you. Need
You
y'all to
do.
know that. I need y'all to
You
know that, everybody.
yes, you do.
but
We actually get up at the same time in the number, but you're just a zone ahead of me, brother. Two zones
but
actually.
exactly. But I was listening to Tom Brady, and he basically said that he had bad games. Believe it or
Mm-hmm.
not, the Tom Brady had bad games, and he said the
Mm-hmm.
way he would manage bad games was he would be super positive about it. Did I bust my ass before this game? Did
Mm-hmm.
I check the scout? Did I
Mm-hmm.
do everything I was supposed to do? And that will help him manage having a bad game. So the same applies to your lift or whatever your gym session is. You're going to have some bad days. Michael Jordan had bad days.
And 100% on that level, this concept, a little bit of a side note, but it's really powerful. When you do what you're supposed to do, like you're talking about Tom Brady doing what he needed to do to perform his best. And if you end up failing because you didn't perform the way you wanted to, you go to bed at night knowing you did everything you could, because in your heart, in your
Yep.
chest. But now keep in mind, don't bullshit yourself. You're like, oh man, you should have. You're supposed to watch your, like in Brady's case, maybe he was supposed to watch game film till 10 p.m. and he went to bed or was stopped at 9:30. He knows he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So do what you're supposed to do, and it's going to give you a whole different level of satisfaction, success or not.
That's a good one. I needed to hear that. What we got next, Johnny?
All right. For those of you that are getting bored, it's easy to get in there and get bored. We all have our pet lifts, if you will. Like it says, I have them. We all have them. Like certain exercises just feel good, and you want to do it, so do it. I totally get it. But if you repeat the same shit too much over and over in the gym, that all of a sudden that exercise you like, it's not so fun anymore. And now you're in deep trouble. So here's
Yep.
the deal. Take your routine and do it backwards. Because
Oh,
when you
I
start,
did that the other day too,
yeah, how did
and it
that go,
works.
brother? Did it blow you
Bruh,
up or
oh
what?
my God, yo, I'm still sore, so I like that. But go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's exactly, it's perfect because anybody who's done this is like, son of a bitch, what just happened? And that's how powerful it is. A lot of times people think, oh, do it backwards. What's going to happen? Well, give it a shot and see what. Our man Marty again is
Man,
testifying right now.
no, I'm doing that every week now on my chest day. Every week, I do
Yeah.
that.
And here's the crazy thing, brother. What I do with something like that is I just keep it tucked in my hip pocket when I need it. It's like an ace in the hole. When I need to pull it out,
Okay,
when I need to pull it out and win, it's there. Because if I exercise it too much, now it doesn't have that same punching power.
okay, so I won't do it every week.
But check it out. Here's an extension of that, and we'll call this the next hack. Is that much like doing your routine backwards?
Mm-hmm.
You can also, whether you do it backwards or forwards, doesn't matter with this tip. So I guess if you want to do it backwards again, Marty, not a problem, but you got to put this on top of it. It's another layer. You need to drastically, and I'll give you numbers here in a second, drastically change your rep range. And just to give you a little spectrum on that, it's like for me, I'll use reps as low as 5. I don't go lower than 5 reps anymore because I'm obviously I'm training to be the best me, but also to be safe. Back when I was a competitive strength athlete, I was doing heavier weights for less reps, but that's not what we're talking about here. So ultimately, your rep range should be somewhere like 5 to 20. Then 20 is a fairly big range, but now for me, I'll take that thing up to 30, sometimes
Yep,
even 50.
yep,
And
me too.
you can literally, if you change your rep range with that multiplier of potentially 10, it's going to, it's
It's
a
a
whole, yeah, 100%. In many cases, you won't even get through. One of the things I do with my clients, if they bang themselves up, I say, okay, multiplier of 3. And what they know what that means. What that means is, okay, for the rest of this week or until this gets better, whatever reps I prescribe to you, you're going to multiply it by 3. So if I gave you reps of 7, now you're doing reps of 21. And
yep.
that multiplier of 3 will lower the weight so much that it won't aggravate the injury. They'll be able to train through it.
Yep.
But it's that massive change of rep range is going to pay huge dividends. And it's real easy to do it. And be bold. Don't say, okay, I was doing 10 last, I was doing 5 last week. I'm going to do 10. No.
Yep.
Say I was doing 5 legs. I'm going to do 30s. And it doesn't have to be that for the whole workout. It could even just be for the first few exercises. Those muscles are going to be so blown up with blood. When you bring your reps back down, it's going to feel very different. And that's what we're looking for, is to constantly be throwing different shit at the body.
Yep. And then to go along with the rep range, we can talk about the weights too. A lot of people, they go in, not only do they do the same reps, they're doing the same weight every time. And so I had a client call yesterday. I'm like, you got to go heavier than that.
That's
Wonder
a really good point, brother.
Wonder you hit a plateau.
Yeah.
So
And on that level, so what you got to think about is this. You want every set to be a challenge, right?
Yep.
Whether it's 5 reps or it's 50 reps. The difference is the weight is going to drastically change between those, because
Yep.
if you're doing 50 reps with something and you do 5, that's not even a down payment on the set. You're not going to get anything out of that. So
Absolutely.
what you always adjust the weight so it's challenging based upon the rep range you're working.
Great stuff, John, Marty. I love this segment, man. I took some stuff. I never thought about the reverse workout thing. I was tuning in there, listening to what you guys were talking about, and that's a great hack there. Marty, what was the one thing you took out of that conversation with John? Like the one you took something out of his conversation earlier this week, but was there one thing that he dropped today that you're like, I'm going to try that out as well?
I think the mindset thing is probably the biggest. The first one.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
It's the toughest,
one, man.
but it's the biggest for sure.
That's the biggest one. A lot of people are working out for the wrong reasons. And
Yeah.
I use this stuff with my clients, so this is great for me. Really tapping into the mindset, because the ones who change the mindset, those are the ones who get the results.
So Marty,
nobody gets the results without changing that mindset first. Go ahead, Keith.
it's like Hernandez was in the truck there, Marty, sitting back looking for motivation, right? That's what you're talking about, right? You can just tell Hernandez is working on the mindset. Is that what you're referring to, Marty?
Yeah, it's real. And not to plug my stuff, but I know I was talking to one of my clients this morning who found me from my podcast. And still to this day, what you're putting in, it directly affects your mindset. So that's what I think the biggest one is.
Awesome. In the gym with John and Marty every single day at 9:16 Eastern time here. Listen, if you're trying to make stepping up your game, I would invite you to listen back to the segment here. Some great hacks from John Anderson, some good nuggets from Marty as well. Drop us a comment. What's your favorite gym hack you learned from John here in the last segment here? All right. Stay with us. Coming up next, it's time for Community Corner with the Creator Spotlight. We're going to take a few moments here before we walk out to John and Marty and say goodbye for the weekend.